especially what you mentioned with the like being straight and direct, and like just the fact that people here don't give you a straight up no. They imply a no, but they rarely say no. And I can just be like, nah, I'm out, or nah, I don't like that. Let's not do it. And everyone here, like my Japanese friends, they're okay with it. But if they would say it, especially to another Japanese person, would be like, "What did you just say?" It's like, wait, you said no? It's more of like, how can you describe that to someone who doesn't speak Japanese? It's like as if you would say,
It's different.
let's say,
違う.
someone asked like, "Oh, are you free on Saturday?" And then you would be like, Saturday, and kind of just hoping that the other person then asks like, "Okay, what about Sunday?" Without like, and
Exactly.
we could just say, "Oh no, sorry, Saturday not good. Let's do maybe Sunday or whatever." But they're
Yes.
just like, Saturday, good question. Am I free? I wonder. And it's like kind of implying that they don't have time and they want you to
Yes.
ask for a different day.
Exactly. So it kind of is like the whole language actually depends on people really reading each other's minds and
Yes.
not even having to finish a sentence. And so
Mm-hmm.
the proper Japanese, the normal Japanese person would just jump in there like,
Mm-hmm.
and then they would already jump in and be like, oh, okay, it's difficult, maybe a different time, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
kind of have this whole culture and language around making people comfortable and not directly saying
Yes.
no. Like the word no is never used. Literally, I never heard it before my whole life in Japan. I only see it on forms. If you have to say
Mm-hmm.
yes or no to
Mm-hmm.
something, it will say yes or no. But the word no in spoken language, it does not exist. I mean, honestly, it does not exist. People just say it's different or maybe a different time, or they
Yeah.
find
Yeah.
negating language, but they will never say no. And
Yeah.
this
Exactly.
is also a concept for Germans, where you have hundreds of ways to say no in German, you know? It's like
Yeah.
nö or nee or nein. You know, you have all of these different words,
Yeah.
even because that's how much Germans use the word no. So sometimes when
Yeah.
I was explaining that to my German friends, they were like, what do you mean they don't say no? How does that work? It works actually, and it works very well.
It works, but as you said, you have to read in between the lines, and that's not always, especially if you're not fluent in Japanese and don't necessarily understand everything your conversation partner is saying. It's kind of difficult sometimes to get that they are alluding to wanting you to add something else, and then I have that sometimes. And I'm just staring at them. And they're staring at me, and I'm just waiting for them to continue, and they're not saying anything, and I'm not saying anything, and then we're just like in this standoff of like staring at each other. And it's like, what is happening?
Awkwardness. But by the way, that's another thing. I mean, not this specifically, but Japanese people are very comfortable with silence.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know if
Mhm.
you've ever noticed that, but sometimes when you ask a question, they would just take a step back and just think. And they take
Yeah.
space for thinking. They don't feel like they
Yeah.
have to fill the silence. That's something I'm learning more. And like when I'm with my Japanese friend, sometimes we just sit there and like we think
Mhm.
about stuff and then we start
Mm.
talking. Like
Mm.
it's a very different way of communicating, man.